Hey everyone, Dominic here. Well, today's the day. We're closing out our little adventure in GameStop. Before we get started, if you like seeing the content on this channel and you'd like to get more of it, please subscribe below. So, we're going to do two things today. We're going to conclude our GameStop adventure. I'll let you know what I did with the put options we bought a couple weeks ago. And two, we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive into GameStop's fundamentals. Starting with the put options, today's Thursday. I sold the put option on Tuesday for a 32% return. Not too bad for 2 weeks worth of work. I actually am a little bit disappointed by it considering the massive drop in GameStop stock. Given that the stock went down by something like 70% from where it was when I first started looking at it, I would have expected a bit more of a return from the put option, but we'll go into a couple reasons why that was. So, 32%. As a quick recap, we bought the put option when the stock was around $300 and our goal was to sell it at $69. As I said before, we didn't need it to get all the way to $69 to make money, but we ended up going past $69, which is just absolutely crazy. So why did that only correspond to a 32% return instead of a much larger one? The main reason is that while our option gained intrinsic value, it lost a little bit of value in time value, meaning the loss of time value offset the gain in intrinsic value. So if I were to do this again, what would be a better way? Let's say we were to replay the GameStop saga to starting today, and the stock's trading around $300 again. Reason I picked to sell all the way down at $69 is because I just didn't want to put that much money down. So the way the options work is the farther out of the money you get, meaning the lower the price in this case, the cheaper the option. So I picked the cheapest option I could possibly find. If it was trading at $300 and I wanted to get a bigger return, meaning maximize more return from the gain in intrinsic value, I would pick something a lot closer to $300 and then benefit once the stock fell below that. But that costs a lot more money. So for future options trades, we'll probably pursue a strategy closer to that. All right, putting the GameStop story to bed, let's move on to our second topic. One of the things that caught my attention in the news over the last few weeks is that everyone seems to say, oh, this stock's completely disconnected from its underlying fundamentals. Oh, this stock's disconnected from reality. To me, it's always important to put a number on that. What do you mean by it's disconnected from reality? And that's what we're about to explore. I'm going to pull up a quick spreadsheet that shows what the fundamentals of GameStop would have needed to do to justify a $300 and justify a $500 price tag. So let's get straight into that. The first thing to note about GameStop is that they've got declining revenue over the last few years. That's sort of our first not good sign. Another bad sign is that their gross margin is going down as a percentage of revenue, while their SG&A, the amount they spend on administrative stuff, is going up. In my adjustment, I have actually adjusted the gross margin up and the SG&A as a percentage of revenue down, despite the fact that that's not what we see is happening, in order to make them profitable at the end of 5 years. Now, as you can see, I've assigned them a PE ratio of 20. I actually think that's generous since a stock with declining revenue and declining margins is generally not worthy of a high PE. They're also a physical retailer, so they usually get a rock bottom PE ratio. Again, for the purposes of argument, let's just raise it to see what happens. As of lately, their value was about $3.5 billion, which if we were to assume all the positive assumptions that I've got on the screen plus a 40 multiple, you'd actually get a pretty good return from here. However, at a stock price of 300 or 500, that corresponds to a market value of $20 billion and almost $35 billion. So even with all our super positive assumptions, you're still going to be losing money over 5 years if you assume that GameStop has to be bound by some fundamentals at some point in the future. Clearly, we have a ways to go. They would have to average way more than 20% revenue growth while improving their margins, something we've never seen before. Essentially, the whole point of this is you would have to see things you've never seen before in order for this stock to make sense. That's all for today. As you can see, the GameStop saga was quite an adventure, and hopefully we'll get another one soon. At the moment, a lot of the cannabis stocks look pretty ripe for a similar type of situation, but we'll explore that in the future. If you enjoyed this content and this video, please subscribe below. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'll see you.